founder of Geltrude and Company, Dan Geltrude. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. Dan, do you believe this would cause more harm than good? I believe it would cause more harm. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out.
Yeah, and I think, Stephanie, where it really causes the harm is in the long term. And the reason I say that, because we're coming out of this pandemic, we're anticipating that the economy is going to really boom. I expect that the stock market is going to do the same. Even Jamie Dimon over at JP Morgan was saying that he expects an economic boom through 2023. But here's the issue. That is not going to last forever, but the tax increases will. And when that happens, you are not going to have the funds available for everything you had to borrow for all of this spending on infrastructure and other things. And then where does that money come from? It's already been spent, but you don't have the income. So I actually believe in the short term, we'll probably be okay. In the long term, I think we could suffer tremendously from these tax increases.
I think so. And a lot of this is to cover the infrastructure plan. And a lot of us are still recovering from the sticker shock from the COVID-19 relief, the $2 trillion spent there. A lot of it didn't even go to a relief for the American people, so it was a scam. Now we have this. A lot of us are skeptical if passed, like where will the money actually go? And we know a lot of it has nothing to do with roads and bridges. A lot of it has to do with other pet projects. So we get that money is always spent by the government, but these numbers that we're seeing are just, out of this world, and they're so casual about it.
Well, in Washington, they throw trillions of dollars around literally like it's a $20 bill. They're completely out of touch. And I have to believe that many of them believe that by the time it comes to pay the bills, so to speak, they would have left. So for right now, it's much better to spend because infrastructure and all this stimulus spending is popular. And that's because the American people actually don't understand who's paying for it, them. So what happens is these politicians, Stephanie, are buying votes in the short term. Someone else is going to get stuck with the bill, and that's going to be us.
And people miss the message here, or what's behind the message. So, they're going to tax the rich, make the rich pay their fair share. In the meantime, like all of us are going to be paying for it. And so no one gets that memo. And I found this quite fascinating and rather curious. So Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he actually supports the corporate tax hike. Why? Why do you think this is?
Well, on the surface, you would think he's being a patriot. I want to pay more than my fair share, even though Amazon has been paying very little taxes for a long time. And Joe Biden has been targeting Amazon. And of course, Senator Sanders has been all over Amazon. So what's happening here is Jeff Bezos is cozying up to the administration. And he's also not that concerned about the income tax rate. Why? Because he's more concerned about the deductions that Amazon gets and protecting those things for research and development, capital expenditures, where Amazon spends billions of dollars. If they can keep those deductions in place, they can keep their corporate tax bill down. So on the surface, it's not really what's happening below there. That's just the what's above the water. What really lies below is what Jeff Bezos' motivation. And let's put it this way. If he was such a patriot with a couple $100 billion, he'd write some checks for $1 billion to do his fair share of the infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical. I never met a rich person who loves to give away money. It just doesn't happen. And we put up his statement. He says, "We support the Biden administration's focus on making bold investments in American infrastructure. Both Democrats and Republicans have supported infrastructure in the past, and it's the right time to work together to make this happen." And so he goes on to say that he's looking forward to working with them and hoping that Congress can find the balanced solution that maintains or enhances the U.S. So again, I think he actually likes the idea of maybe getting rid of some competition and just kind of like how Amazon supports raising the national minimum wage to $15 per hour. They're already paying around that salary, but again, it's to wipe out their competition.
It certainly is. And Amazon is great at that. And let's also keep in mind this infrastructure, which, if you really break it down, Stephanie, is about connecting people in some way. And who benefits so much from that? It's Amazon. The more people are connected, the better off they do. Why? Because they know what everybody is talking about. They know what everyone is thinking. So the more people are connected, the more their business model expands, and the proof is in the pudding. Because what have we seen from Amazon? They're taking over the world. This bill will advance that for them. So of course they're going to support it.
Well, all good points, Dan. We appreciate you breaking it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Coming up next, yet another false